Howdy y'all, I hope you and yours are well. This video is being made due to a myriad of synchronicities that have happened over the past week, and it's a topic that I love because it is beat into our heads in so many facets of life. This idea of war that is antithetical to our being, to our genuine spirit as children of God. So this all started, these synchronicities started this past Thursday when I was at work gardening, and we took lunch and we started talking about various films in the generally horror genre slash thriller genre. And this segued into war discussion with a couple of the members of the group. And we talked about essentially the tactics of these wars, the little bits we've been told. And one of them was so elated to have come up with this name, Gavrilo Principe, who, if you take their lore, their story, his story, was the one to initiate World War One. He Shim, as you can see. We've got there's a better picture next year. Gavrilo Principe. It's got the Cupid's bow and no Adam's apple and looks like a chin job. But yeah, it would be a very pretty girl. Is apparently an actor, of course, a Serb nationalist, young Serb student who, along with his other friends, were lying in wait to have a shot at this Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria, because apparently Serbia and Austria had bad interrelations and everybody's vying for each other and it's all a big competition, and they want you thinking that you have to fight your entire life because everybody's in it for themselves to some extent, at least in terms of nationalism and countries, right? And this person that I work with was so elated to come up with this name because instead of caring about, the aspects of the plants that we grow and the various medicinal qualities and the important things of life, they care a lot about this theater crap. They love it. They revel in it because it's it's what they use to keep us down. So here is the story, and it reads like complete and utter nonsense, like a NFL football game when you couldn't script it yourself. So let's read this. Let's read through this this sequence, this attack that kicked off World War One. However, upon reaching the city's famous Latin Bridge, this is referencing Archduke and their motorcade and how it was how they went off course. The driver turned right into the old town. Patoriak, the driver, shouted at the driver, telling him that he was going the wrong way. As the driver tried to put the car in reverse, the engine jammed. Gavrilo Principe probably could not believe his eyes. The Archduke and his wife were right in front of him, stuck on the corner by Schiller's Delicatessen. Several of his comrades had missed their opportunities, and he did too. Yet this moment was perfect. So perfect that if you read about it in a novel or saw it in a movie, you would shrug it off as a sloppy deus ex machina. And a deus ex machina, for those who don't know, is when you have a story and something completely out of left field that you weren't expecting comes in and resolves the action the story. Um, a sloppy deus ex machina of a lazy author. Nonetheless, all of the bizarre factors aligned in the most unlikely way possible, and Principe took out his pistol. He fired just two shots, one at Ferdinand and one at Patoriak. As he fired the second shot, a bystander grabbed his arm. He thus missed the governor and hit the Archduchess instead. She she died almost instantly. Her husband was dead within half an hour. So you have this perfect dreamlike sequence coming together for these people that are vying to sees the uh, sees the target, get to the target, and this is what initiates World War One. Everybody needs to get involved once this big character gets assassinated because now things have gone off kilter, right? So here's a good depiction of what they've conveyed. You have this Gavrilo Principe in the foreground, shooting uh, both the Archduke and his wife, and kickstarting World War One. How bad directions in a sandwich started World War. It's just complete, utter baloney that people just buy because it's what they're told. And here we are. And oh yeah, venerate him further. Let's make a statue. Let's make paintings. Let's really glorify this moment because we really want people to have ingrained in their mind how the butterfly effect, right? Something as subtle as taking the wrong turn for these people, these royals taking the wrong turn led to their death. This whole scene is very reminiscent of the Princess Diana nonsense that was more of in our lifetimes, and uh, just under the bridge, and you don't know what happened. Oh, she was killed. It's complete nonsense and Masonic theater. So yeah, make a statue of him, her, whatever, and give credence to this whole nonsensical charade, right? That's how their whole shebang works. And so we had this conversation, and I'm chuckling in my head. We had also talked about the Revolutionary War, and what we were taught about the Revolutionary War was that it was red versus blue, and the British came, and they're wearing bright red and just marching with drummer boys and just open targets, basically. Like no person in their right mind would go into war with such brash behavior and colorful clothing. But they sold us that, and everyone's scratching their heads, and people were so dumb back then. Well, the tactics have evolved, and war has become more advanced. Look how primitive it was when we first founded our country. The guerrilla warfare of the United States folks was savvy, and thank goodness we gotta love our patriots for being savvy and not so brash and bold as the foolish British. When it's all the same nonsense, and these people are transient in every form of the word, and they have no country really. So the second synchronicity that led into this video was the next day. I go solo gardening most every Friday, and it's great because I'm away from all these freaks, really, that just play these stupid mind games all day long. Oh, COVID, oh, war, oh, planet, globe. Um, and I'm at this house, and this house is located near apparently a military base. And every time I'm over there in the morning, on these days, I usually hear a couple of military aircraft go overhead. It's no big deal. You can't hear anything for because it's so ear shattering for a couple seconds, but I've gotten used to it. It's not a big deal. But this day, after this little war talk, there must have been, I didn't count, but there must have been 10, I don't 12 planes that went overhead, and it was straight for like an hour. And I at that point I was kind of incensed. I can feel it in my ribs. My bones are shaking with these aircraft going overhead. Maybe a couple, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand feet, not very high off the ground, just starting up their flight. And it just felt so ridiculous, so nonsensical. And this is what they have. They have all this panache and all the fanfare, but it's all just fake. It's so ridiculous. So I'm kind of cursing at the sky here. And the irony, the funny thing, the third synchronicity here was that while these planes are going overhead, I'm listening to my good buddy, Snow Global Pedo Colt. He's been reposting some of the finest works from RFTK Ohio's BitChute channel. And yeah, this is an amazing video. If you really want to shatter the image that's been imposed upon us this dark image about war that's always looming overhead when you turn on your TV. It's this very militaristic, ultimately satanic mindset of keep everybody in fear, like Monsters Inc. What's his name? Henry J. Waternoose. The screams are their fuel for the city. The loosh, the fear of the city. This video completely dissolves. It is the complete opposite antithesis of what the war they claim is. And they do this walking the line. The U.S. Navy in training land. They go on these ships and they get dressed up and they do butt stuff, and it's disgusting, and it's the absolute antithesis of what they claim are these hard grizzled people that are saving us and protecting us and we need them. It's not that at all. It's a big gay Martins club, trainee invert club. And so I'm listening. These jets go overhead, and I'm listening to this, and I'm chuckling to myself because I'm like, look how ridiculous this whole sequence is. People elated to remember these names because they love this theater, and then you have these planes overhead. It's such a big fanfare, and then I'm listening to this U.S. Navy, and I'm like, I have to address this. And I haven't seen many other people really address the fake war thing. I think it's a touchy thing. It gets people all worked up, and it's important though. It's important that we completely dissolve their whole facade, because people shouldn't be living in fear or on a lower chakra or like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, however you want to phrase it. If you're really believing all this war stuff, it's inevitable that you're going to be feeling like you can't create, like you can't really enjoy things fully. But here we are with myriad evidence that this is a big show. So much, it's just ludicrous. So here is, I believe this is from World War One. It's called the Battle of Attu. It doesn't really matter, World War Two, but here you have some guys hanging in some foxholes, and one of the dudes is smoking a cigarette. This middle guy looks okay, I suppose, but this guy's just chuckling. You're never going to look like that if you're in war. You're never going to have a smile on your face. I'm sorry. The guy on the left here. And it's because it's a photo op. And then here, I mean, does he even look injured? These guys are carrying him off the boat. I mean, his legs are completely blocked off. I just, it's, and there's photographers here taking all of the shots. It reminds me of, how are there people with these great whites when they're these dangerous beasts, these mindless machines that eat everything because they're fake, and this is just a show. And this is the same thing. It's just a show. Looks like a more legitimate photo than some of the other ones that I'm going to show you. But again, no blood, no weird. I don't know. Just you would see things like I don't see anything on the pant legs. I don't see any. Maybe that's a little something there, but it doesn't look genuine to me. So yeah, like I said before, they want us to believe in this Revolutionary War and this kind of evolution or this growth of this not growth, but this evolution of war tactics, and it's complete ridiculous. It's nonsense because people would not just march to their deaths for nothing. It's insane what they what they propose. So you have only painted paintings from the Revolutionary War. There's no pictures that far back, 250 years ago. And there's ideas of reenactments during the enactments, even here, and it just looks ridiculous. Look how well kempt their hair is. It just they get their best attire. I think you got George Washington up on the horse up there. It just looks ridiculous. It's a show. They put on a big theatrical show and they want you to believe in it. I've always, and then moving into the Civil War. I think this is just hilarious. I showed this in the last video I made. It's so clear that these are the same people to me. The ears, just the jaw, just they are so similar. They literally just did the subtlest things to the face. To they had the same little mole on the cheek. It may have just even been the lighting they changed. Like it just looks like the lighting's different. But these look the same, and it's insane that people just accept these things and don't raise their hand and be like, that's clearly the same person when they're in class. And I don't know, when we learned about the Civil War, 8, 10 years old, it kept going for a few years, 12 years old. Um, so I'm gonna keep going through some photos here and just, do you guys see anything in this? Like, does it look like a set? I mean, look at look at what they're doing. I mean, there's supposed to be dead bodies there. It's very vague in this picture. I don't see a whole lot going on. They're just pointing. Hey, look, make sure you point at this these dead bodies. Photos from Antietam, just nonsense. Um, Here, just looking at dead bodies. Are they dead? Can you see some life in the skin? I think they're just actors. They just lay down and they tell them, "Oh, go lie in a pile," and make it look legitimate. And there's more that are more damning than these ones. These ones aren't. These ones are kind of far away. I mean, I don't see a whole lot there. They don't look dead to me. I don't see any bullet holes. I don't see any blood. And you would see something on their shirts. They look a little bit tattered, but I don't see any holes in their clothing. Like it just looks too clean to me. Haunting scenes. It doesn't seem haunting to me anymore. A big thing with the Civil War, obviously, is this black and white, yin yang divide that they love pushing over and over again. But I mean, really, they're all on the same team. They're all inverted, and it's just a show. And yeah, they Remember the Titans is a movie that comes to mind, and there's so many where they want you to really appreciate black and white coming together because it's some spectacle when it's not. It's just people. Um, Here you supposedly have a dead person. Doesn't look really dead to me. The photos get more comical. Another battle of Antietam. This was apparently a big battle. So many people died. I just don't buy it. All I see is little girly men camping. Yeah, and here you go. Abraham Lincoln's hips. Look at that. Wider than the arms, sloped shoulders. Just looks like a caricature. You're telling me these guys all went to war? There was a hidden hand on the left there. Because they're liars. They're fakers. They're frauds. Another hidden hand. Two hidden hands around Abraham. It just looks ridiculous. The bearded ladies with their hidden hands. Their fine beards. Does this look real to you? Does this look legitimate? I mean, this one close one, it looks ridiculous to me. Dead soldiers, okay. I mean, I could lie in a field with the big coat on and it would look just like that. It doesn't tell me anything. It's not very good evidence. Why don't they get really close up shots? I mean, you don't see much. Okay, and then a big part of the Civil War is they apparently used cannon fire, and cannons. Maybe this deserves its own video, but so much of the weaponry that they use is clunky and ridiculous. I feel like it'd be the easiest thing to avoid a cannonball ever. Like you'd see it a million miles away, you would just run away. It'd be so easy to avoid it, and apparently they are using it as one of their bigger mechanisms. Their grandiose firepower, um, compared with the rifles and so forth. Just a horse shit. Like they think you're retarded, um, kind of thing. This looks like a very Masonic pose over here with the elbow on the hip and his hand up like that. I mean, they all look very actor-like and ridiculous, busty men. This one's ridiculous too. So again, they love pushing this black and white crap. African Americans collect the bones of soldiers killed. I'm going to make a video in the future just saying nobody's really black, nobody's fucking white. It's just ridiculous. This ridiculous Indian crap. But yeah, just a random boot there, and then you got skulls that could just be fake skulls. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're just trying to scare you, fearmonger. Oh, I'm so sorrowful. I've seen so much. Well, I don't think you saw shit. I think you guys just put on a little show, and this looks ridiculous to me. Just a little photo op. And then now we get Now we get obvious and ridiculous and funny. Okay, so partially tiled A Harvest of Death. This photo depicts just a few of the fallen soldiers at Gettysburg. Are you kidding me? Nothing. Just nothing on this guy at all. Looks completely intact. Maybe he got stabbed on the other side, sure, but look at it. Just don't see anything. Nothing. Look at this. This is ridiculous. This acting. They all look like they're clean. It doesn't look like they're dead to me. They look like they have blood in their bodies. They don't look like dead people. It's just ridiculous. So now you have they're on the USS Wissahickon, standing by the ship's gun, 1863. We're gonna look at some of the faces and see they look hardened by war. I think I see the little smile on the back over there to the top right. Little hidden hand there on the bottom. And yeah, it just doesn't look legitimate to me. It feels phony when I look at these. And this is another big one. Dead Confederate soldiers at the Battle of Spotsylvania. Oh, Transylvania, maybe? What? Blood in his veins, clearly. Doesn't look dead at all. Neither of these two in the front look dead at all. Not even remotely. Nothing on this one. You can see the whole body of this front one. You can't see it. There's nothing there. What did he die of? Malaria? Tuberculosis? No. Supposedly he got shot or stabbed and nothing. I don't see any wounds. I don't see anything. It's show. And then for this big of a person, this person's pretty big. Pretty big person. A little magic wand hand right there. That looks like a magic wand hand to me. They're bold and brash with their bullshit and their hand signs. Small, tiny, little feet, little cloven hooves for these Satanists. Then here you have the camp, right? This is like the high-class camp. The Union General Ulysses S. Grant Center and his staff pose in the summer of 1864 in City Point, Virginia. Look at these fools. Oh, we're planning our next attack. And, oh, it's going to be a big war. If war was genuine, it wouldn't look like this. You wouldn't have time to do all this stuff, to take pictures and wear all these nice clothes. And it's just such a ludicrous affair that they pass off on us. And look at these people. They don't look remotely in fear for their lives, or like they're like there's any sort of concern for the near future. They just look casual, bored even to some extent. And yeah, it's the same kind of classist crap that Baffos like to do. They don't share things. They like having tiers and degrees of masonry and just nonsense. So more into the cannon fodder. I mean, just ridiculous bearded ladies, fat. I mean, look at that body. Look at that body. Are you kidding me? Bearded ladies. All of them look frumpy. With this nonsense. You think this thing does anything? You think anybody died by this thing? This is ridiculous. The flat surface like that. I don't think that's propelling anything to kill anybody. And it's just laughable. So then you have this one, like, still looks like it has blood in the veins, doesn't look real at all. Maybe they give it a little ketchup. You know, okay, they're saying maybe there's something there behind the head. I don't see it. It looks so fake to me. Dead in a trench. Young soldier lies dead in a trench. I still see life there. I don't see a dead person. Here, oh, you guys, let's stand up next to the house and pose with some rifles at Dutch Gap. Oh, they're ready to fight, you know. They had time to take these pictures. You can stand over there and completely expose yourself because, okay, if you're next to this wall right here, you got some cover. You have like, what, half cover there. But if you're over here, you're probably not next to a house. You're wide on the open. So this photographer just got shot dead, right? You know, these people are posed. They're ready to shoot. No. It's just a photo op, like everything in the war. It's all photo ops. So then, okay, going into the propaganda around it, I think you can look at something like COVID or like what we're going through right now, where there's nothing going on at all. It's complete fakery. It's the common cold. So people are just not concerned about it. And this is what you have. It's just like, we know you're not concerned about it, but we're just going to continue to press our bullshit because That's what we do. Wake up, America. Civilization calls. Every man, woman, and child. Oh, so we're all going to be fighting for this war. It's such a big deal because people love to fight, and we need to fight for our country instead of get along and obviously acknowledge that this is a ridiculous affair and killing people never solves anything. Gee, I wish I were a man. Well, you are a man. You're doing the tranny hip throw, and you have no curves, and you got a square jaw and wide apart, fire apart eyes, and this is all just a big joke to you. Be a man and do it. Oh, I would never. I don't even. I really do wonder about regular men in the armed forces. Um, Apparently, there are some in there. I don't really know. But yeah, this is ridiculous. So then, yeah, okay, let's go phallic. Join the Navy, the service for fighting men. Okay, more like I like butt sex, and this is pretty obvious. Um, and then, yeah, I gotta wrangle a cat because Masons love the hunt and they love to take down big predators and show that they're tough. Um, okay, this is ridiculous. A World War II hand-to-hand combat battle scene. So this photographer's right behind there, and in no fear, just taking the shot. He could be shot in the head, but no, we've got this shot. Could it even be? I think this guy is photoshopped in. I don't. Is that even a real face? Is this looks like a little imp ear in a mask? Like what is he? What is he even? What is he? That's not a chin. What is that? What kind of war garb is that? I didn't even notice that earlier. And then is that what kind of hands is that? This makes me think of the Offshoot 100 stuff where they're not even people. They're like demons, um, just playing a joke on us. And this is just nonsense. This doesn't look real at all. It looks like the foreground is a completely different scene than the background. They just superimpose the photo and photo manipulation. Is this that Battle of Atu shot? Okay, so I got that in twice. Well, yeah. Okay, so then this one's telling in the Pacific Theater, right? World War II. This guy's got a big weapon. I'm not the most versed. What is that? Is he missing a finger? What is that even? What is that? What the fuck is that? What are these things? What is that? Um, a Freemartin, but like just nonsense. You think this is a toughie? You think he's just playing a role? You think he's just joking around? I think he's just joking around. Doesn't look very tough to me. Again, no Freemartins really look that tough. And then this is such a telling one. Okay, so this is D-Day. This is one of the most reveled about Saving Private Ryan things. This big boat's about to come out. They're about to expose themselves to all these troops, the Germans, and look at their faces. Does this look like someone going to war? Does that look like someone going to war? Does this? Hey guys, let's take a photo. Do any of this guy maybe because he's looking away? But any of the ones, they're all smiling at the camera. Well, you wouldn't smile at the camera if you were about to go fend for your life. You wouldn't be doing that. But here you have the majority of the photo is just joking around, laughing. It's just a big old boat party. Like I've said, butt party, boat party, butt party, and duping delight. Kind of a one eye there. This guy's kind of doing it well. Oh, I'm kind of playing it straight. But the rest of them, look at this. Just ridiculous. So anyways. And then this is a classic. This is such a good one. Okay, all these are just fake bandages, but especially that guy. What in the world? Let's mummify you. Let's make it seem legitimate. No, just ridiculous. Ridiculous how stupid this looks. And just little jesters, little jokesters, little people who would look way better as women. And to segue into this from the World War II nonsense theater into what we see modern day and how this is continually, I think this is a better photo to start with. This is continually pushed and reveled and made into this fantasy where we've got to fight to survive, and America has to be the city on a hill that has the greatest militaristic prowess when all of it's a big facade in theater and America's just the biggest whore of Babylon is disgusting. I remember growing up and playing video games, and then it got to the point where everybody was into these FPS games, first person shooter, Call of Duty, and then Halo games. And I just did not get it. I don't want to shoot a person. It just doesn't feel right. I could distance myself a little bit. I played things like Conker's Bad Fur Day. I played other games that kind of like didn't do this direct like shoot a man approach. Um, but here you have it. Just reveled in and venerated this idea of war. And then you have the two Baphomet, this girly looking dude, this strong jawed, you know, doodly woman. Oh, we love it. We revel in this war. We love keeping the sheep stupid and making them believe that we need to do all these things for them. And no, you guys are a bunch of posers and fakers, and no one dies. I don't know what the four is supposed to reference with this helmet there, but maybe it is just four being, DMV, the idea of structure and foundation. You need war to have foundation, which is just wrong, inherently wrong. So yeah, Halo goes on to it. It's kind of this futuristic, obviously they're bringing in aliens. They love aliens aspect into everything. Where, um, yeah, again, the veneration of war and no neck Martins, no neck Martins really making the difference. Um, when no, it's ridiculous, and I don't think people should be glued to a TV shooting people all the time, because what are they going to be thinking about when they're going outside? What and beating people and yelling over the internet. I mean, all of us have heard countless stories about people going ape shit or going crazy over their war games and yelling at people over the internet, and that's really awful energy. It's not good energy. But hey, if you're a Baphomet and Tare and you revel in this shit, then hey, this is a big celebration for you, and you just love all this disgusting violence. So now we're going to look at some veterans here, quote unquote, World War II vets. So let's look at the frumpy Freemartin here. Look at that grandma. Looks like could serve you some cookies. Nice, cute little grandma. Another cute little grandma there. Serve you some cookies. Gentle. Got all the pageantry. Looks ridiculous. Looks like a little Boy Scout. And then of these three, who's got the jaw? Who's the one that could beat the shit out of you? Who's got the deep set eyes? Look at the soft, feminine gaze on this guy. Look at the big eyes, big chin, big hands. You believe these jesters? You believe these jokers? I don't. And then, oh yeah, this Maine, what is it? Maine's World War II vets. Oh yeah, look at this guy. Looks like a demon. Got the wonk eye, throwing the devil horns. Just it's a big joke in honor of the greatest generation, University of Maine. Just nonsense. You're great because you fought people. Again, venerating war. Total nonsense. Wife's got the neck. Shim's got no neck. They're disgusting. They love their theater, and we're on to you. We're on to your nonsense. And to get more into the pop culture, what I was exposed to growing up, I was thankful I didn't grow up in this military family, but I did have a parent, a dad, a Martin dad, who absolutely loved and adored and had MASH on in the background. And MASH is the show with all these doctors on a base during the Korean War, which is rarely if ever talked. I don't think it was even mentioned in my public school, crappy public indoctrination camp education. Um, but this show was on all the time, and if you watch this show, it's just a big comedy. It's a big, all this crazy stuff's happening. They're healing all these soldiers that come into the war, but then so much of the show is taken up by all these gags and jokes. And I remember there's this one character, Radar, who's just always dressing in, not Radar, sorry, I don't remember that other character's name, always dressing in drag everywhere he goes because he's trying to get kicked out of the war. He doesn't want to be there. But it's just a big joke. And they venerate it and they think it's fun, and it's just another one of their sideshow theaters. This is, I mean, war really, when you think about it, it's a sideshow theater. Um, and I think nowadays I think most of them just do computer work, and maybe they work on different weapons, and in our life, in my lifetime, I'm 30. It seems like we've always been in the Middle East. We've always been waging war in the Middle East. It's very reminiscent of what is it, the Aldous Huxley Brave New World, where we're always at war with East Asia. It's the same idea, but like what I legitimately think it is um, or no, I don't legitimately think it's this, but the poppy fields thing, right? Uh, they're guarding poppy fields because they want to get people high on heroin. They want people to be doped out of their minds, and they're guarding poppy fields. They want to control the drug trade. That I think is kind of like surface level um, iceberg, even though icebergs aren't real. Um, but in reality, it's a big sham, and I mean, they're not doing what they're saying they're doing. I think they basically go camping and sit around, and it's pretty boring. And then yeah, it goes hand in hand. Devil horns and America, venerating America, just venerating countries. Like I said, countries come from this idea of war and dividing land and keeping us in this mindset of divide and conquer. That's just illogical when we should be communist, really. I mean, they make communism out to be the scariest thing possible, but hey, if we're sharing resources and we don't need excess, then yeah, having simple, humble homes that everybody can appreciate and growing food and sharing it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, they love fighting. There was a last week I actually was driving behind some ridiculous person with a big, of course, pickup truck, raised pickup truck, where on his bumper stickers it said, "If you don't like if you don't like the colors of this flag, I can show you the way out." And then the other bumper sticker was along the lines of, "If you're this close to the trunk, if you're this close to the to my car, then I'll show you the barrel of my gun," or something. Just very like Red Lodge. I've got guns. Don't be messing around me. I'm tough. I'm a big tough Martin energy, which is what they do. This is the whole war thing. I'm a big tough Martin, and I've got to show you your place. So yeah, here you go. Another day on the job. Pin on cool things is what they said. Hey, what's up, dude? Let's do a bunch of nothing. Devil horns. You know, let's play this game on the goyim, or the peasants, or the muggles, or however you want to phrase it. And this brings me to another story I have, a little story where I was Ubering back when I was in university, and I took this war vet, right? This big war Martin vet, who had just served time in Afghanistan, to the university football game. And I asked him, I had never been to war, and I'm a college student, so I asked him, so what'd you guys do over there? What's going on? And he's like, well, we're protecting the sheep like you, because you guys can't fend for yourselves. And I wanted to kick him out of my car. I dropped him off, and I muttered something under my breath, and I moved on with my day. And I haven't seen that ludicrous, ridiculous person since. But yeah, complete actor, just trying to put you in their place, always trying to put regular people down. That's what they do. That's what this whole thing is. And they just, maybe they even do that. They're brainstorming how to mess with us. So yeah, back to the Halo thing. Halo came out in 2001. Sorry, this is a little bit out of order, but just to get back into the idea of when my childhood became obvious that things were just awful and strange. When everybody's venerating all this shooting and killing people, it's just nonstop. I mean, when it's like laser tag or things like that, I don't mind that, but people are holed in their houses, and they're spending their weekends shooting at other people across the world, and laughing about it, and what do they call it, like teabagging, where they like sit on the other player's face, and it's just all disgusting energy. It's all like I did this to you, huh? F you, I beat you so hard, and just keeps going back and forth. And um, the tie through on all this is that it really isn't any of this tough guy stuff. I don't even believe in grenades, really. It just seems like a nonsensical tool. Um, but uh, and then just like if they are genuine, they're vastly overplayed. But what's really going on this entire time is it's this gay, usually Martin Club, and I, I in researching this stuff and looking into this stuff, I kept coming into this idea of our big celebrated franchises, and one that's big is obviously the Lord of the Rings. And here is really the essence of why, when I watched the three Lord of the Ring, the trilogy, that the big trilogy that is IMDb, you know, everybody's got to watch it. It's such a big film franchise. I was just sitting there. I don't get it. These movies are drawn out. I don't understand that, like, why it's such a big deal. Maybe if I read the books, it'll be such a big deal. But just in the films themselves, for them being lauded the way they are, I was just lost. I don't get it. And I think part of the reason why was because so much of the movie is focused on this kind of in your face gay relationship. So here we go. The exception is Frodo Baggins and Samwise Gamgee, the ring bearer with an impossible burden, his loyal gardener, and the bond between them that ends up saving their world. Tolkien based Frodo and Sam's relationship on ones he had seen and experienced in World War One. Oh, you mean you and your butt buddies? That between usually an upper class officer and his Batman. Oh, all the depth of that word now. A usually lower class man who served as his bodyguard, personal assistant, and constant companion. A caddy in golf, a Batman, this little Mason underling who takes it up the butt, or, you know, like, is at the beck and call. Samwise Gamgee, as his bodyguard, personal assistant, and constant companion. The basis does not preclude romance. There's at least one novel about a Batman and his officer having a romantic relationship. Look Down in Mercy by William Baxter. Oh, you know, William Baxter just couldn't handle his swire wife at home, and he needed to get, who was pre-marined out and can't think straight. Shim needed to go to war and have his real fun with his Batman. In many accounts of queer soldiers who found they could, while facing nightmarish conditions in the trenches, live out relationships that would have never been possible at home. So these great big stories that people revel about, people go to freaking New Zealand and they're like, oh my goodness, I saw Hobbiton. Well, the essence of these stories is basically a gay relationship. There's not any, like, it's so ridiculous. It's these closet gay people that just keep venerating this over and over again and need to be part of these clubs. And the war is not real. It's just about them camping and finally getting time alone to do all their creepy nonsense. And yeah, it's biblical. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. So God has put us, I feel deep down that there are less wheat here than there are tares. There's way more tares. And we are supposed to endure their nonsense because it is so laughable. They are children and they are disgusting. And God has faith in us, the few of us that there are out here, to see through this nonsense and walk beyond it and show convincingly that we as humanity are capable of so much more than these ridiculous theatrical productions that we've been flooded with our whole lives. And I highly recommend you guys check out, again, like I said, the Navy and Training Land video and all of RFTK Ohio's fake war videos, because you have to remove this ridiculous, over the top worship. Interesting, that word, worship of fake war soldiers, violence. It is ludicrous. It is insane to think these people are protecting you when they haven't for a single day. They actually loathe you and they're putting a big con on you. And yeah, help other people out of this paradigm. The whole the biggest thing I see really is all the veterans on license plates, all the veterans, um, just it's plastered everywhere. All this veterans nonsense, all this fake drama, all this fake trauma that they go through, and all the benefits they have to receive to deal with their trauma for being in war when they didn't fire a bullet. It's all fake. It's all a big show, and they're just trying to keep you down. And they get all these benefits when you don't because you didn't go to war because you're not in this fake nonsense. And then the other laughable part about it too is the people that would go to military that I remember from high school, they were the bad kids. They're the ones that needed discipline. So it's really strange because you had that crowd, but then you also had predominantly that crowd, but then you also had the crowd that just needs to have authority. You know, the hall monitors, the ones that they can't just be an equal. They have to have authority over people. So they go to the military hoping that they can rule over people and be ahead of people and be a sergeant and all this nonsense. And it is it is complete and utter horse crap. And it's so easy to see through. And when you know it's all fake, when you know that they're doing these walk the line ceremonies and throwing devil horns and joking around the corner, and there are these frumpy women on tea that just can't hold out for it. It's sad, and I yearn for a world where we don't have all this nonsense thrown in our face and we can just be honest about the fact that humanity doesn't want to kill each other and we don't have to live this way. And yeah, so please make more fake war content because we need more of it. It's so plain and obvious. It's such a big fulcrum to their crap. And we see beyond it. It's fake. And we don't need to live under their wing, under their protection because they don't protect us at all. We can protect our families. We don't need their crap. We can go on without this. So a little bit wordy there at the end, but it's a big topic, and I wanted to get across those major points. Um, that it's all show. God bless you all.